Your style is interesting because I believe we are approaching a time in Australia where we need to have a chat about what kind of media we want going forward. I mean, the viewers are the market, and as content creators, we control what sort of quality is on offer for that market. Now, whether or not mainstream media recovers its sanity will depend on the market pressure placed on it by independent podcasters like yourself and channels like this. Now, independent press, they made a lot of headway during COVID because all those chasms, as you said, opened up of content where there just simply wasn't a conversation happening. But where do you see this going? Do you think we are at the edge where the press could either go into the, oh, we're the only one truth, we're radicalised into this clickbait scenario, or are we going to head more towards being professional outfits and providing a proper balance to the mainstream media?
So in my, from my aspect, most of the people that are under the age of 30 who have watched my channel and engaged with my content have given me the advice that I need to yell more, shout more, be deliberately controversial, say things that are deliberately going to create a clickbait situation. They're very much focused on creating, you know, that really unique and outrageous 15 to 30-second clip that's going to potentially go viral or get the clicks, going to YouTube Shorts or Instagram Stories. That seems to be where their attention span is at. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create something that is authentic, something that is real, and something that steps outside of that temptation to be sensational, to have clickbait. And I think I'm just trying to create a conversation that is much calmer, that is much more inclusive, and that gets the message across, and hopefully in not too boring a way. But speaking to what you're saying about the clickbait within the mainstream media, what is really interesting to me is that how much they demonize online content creators and even people such as ourselves, and yet how much they actually cannibalize the worst of our industry and then make it their own. And you see this back and forth that happens between online creators and the traditional corporate media. And I think it's because they are hitting the panic button, because they understand that people like yourself, I don't know much about the channel that we're on, but I know that Alan Jones has moved across there. All of these things, every single person, and it doesn't matter if it's just one person, 100 people, 1,000, every single person that they lose is an audience member that they're losing. It chips away at their power. It chips away at their legitimacy. So I think what they're doing is they're, in a very clunky way, they're looking at online creators and they're saying, what makes them so popular? The issue I have is that they seem to be looking at the most sensational people, like whether it's Alex Jones, which, by the way, I do love watching, but just simply because he is so outrageous. But they're also looking at people like Mr. Beast. So what they're doing is they're looking at some of what I would say is the most extreme, or I don't want to say worst, but controversial aspects of online content. And they're thinking that they can recreate that in their world. And it's just not working for them. So rather than trying to set the standard, they're panicking and they're just trying to pump out the same sort of stuff that they think that people want because of what they've engaged with online. But there are so many different audiences online, and I would say that your audience and hopefully mine are looking for something a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more nuanced, but potentially something that's not just literally the McDonald's of entertainment.
Well, you raised an interesting point there with the TikTok, because I think you said you did other content as well before news and media content. Yeah. With TikTok, how do we handle a generation that is so conditioned to have these short attention spans? I mean, I was listening to a teacher in Victoria, and at their last big teachers council there for the state, they were saying they've taken away the long form text and put in short stories, and I mean like a page short story, to handle the fact that their students have no attention span. Now that's only going to make it worse. I mean, I feel that's a really bad idea. But how are we going to manage news media in an age where people only want to listen to 10 to 20 seconds of a serious issue? That sounds like a massive problem facing not just our content creation, but also mainstream media.
Well, Well, I think that it's important. Well, I pushed back initially against the whole idea of going on TikTok, but then I realized that the idea that I was too good or whatever for TikTok, or not engaging with young people because they have short attention spans, I just pushed that aside. And it's not about me giving in to this new medium. What it was about me recognizing that there is a huge potential audience on TikTok. And so many people, and I came across this at the conference with the academics, are very dismissive of this. However, that audience, that 15 to 22-year-old audience, they are all there.